Hello, I'm Laura. I'm the CEO of VMV Hypoallergenics. We're here to save the world's skin with the safest, most proven effective care on the planet. And today I will be giving you the skinny on one of our most beloved products and one of our best sellers. A lot of people love this thing and a lot of their kids love it too, which is Boo-Boo Balm. And before I get started, please don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for loads of content. And if you would like even more information, you can get it at vmvinskin.com. And if you would like to shop our products, you can do so at vmvhypoallergenics.ph and vmvhypoallergenics.com internationally. So the big brave Boo-Boo Balm is kind of a skin Swiss Army knife is sort of how we like to describe it because it can address so many skin problems and owies. When it was first thought of, my mother, who is our founding dermatopathologist and dermatologist, was doing a lot of work on coconut derivatives. These lipids are phenomenal broad spectrum antimicrobials, and there's a lot of published studies on them. Lipids were actually studied as antimicrobials in the 1800s, but then penicillin's discovery, which is much easier to produce and much cheaper, sort of eclipsed that, and lipids kind of went away. But since the, say, advent of problems like antibacterial resistance, there's been a lot of new attention on lipids as antimicrobials, and virgin coconut oil and monolaurin have a long, long history of great proof and clinical studies on their efficacy against viruses, bacteria, fungi, yeast, protozoa. So definitely worth checking out. And in fact, we have a nice review of some of those studies as on VCO and monolaurin as antivirals that you can check out on our blog. A wonderful broad spectrum antimicrobial that, because it works differently from antibiotics, it's really physical. It breaks down the lipid wall of the critter. It doesn't have antimicrobial resistance to it. It is non-drying, it's soothing, it's non-stinging, it's quick acting. So yeah, the big brave Boo-Boo Balm. How Boo-Boo Balm actually came into existence is I was pregnant and I was talking to my mom about how come, we don't have a lot of hypoallergenic options in the market that are truly fragrance-free, that didn't have fragrance, masking fragrance, other top allergens, dyes. And as she was doing the research on it, she was like, I have a wonderful formulation I'm thinking of that is also ouchless. And that's actually when she got me, because I remember my own childhood filled with scrapes and cuts and things like that, which were bad enough. Then to sort of relive that pain with brown betadine or this bright pink merthiolate. And it was painful. It was so stingy. So when she said that she had something that was sort of help with quick healing and was also ouchless, I was sold. Some of those other sort of first aid antimicrobial things aren't just stingy, but they're also drying and irritating. So alcohol, for example, like 70% isopropyl alcohol is not an allergen. It is an irritant. Lots of things can be irritants. Water can be an irritant. We see that a lot sort of with washing our hands. A lot of these things are just irritants, and it works slightly different than an allergic reaction. We have a nice blog post about that too, irritant versus allergic reaction, right, on our blog. But say alcohol, betadine even, these things are not allergens, but they are irritants. But this has no allergens in it and no irritants in it. It's also non-drying. Alcohol is drying over time, and we've seen that, for example, in the pandemic, where a lot of alcohol-based hand sanitizers are causing redness and cracking and stinging and things like this. Coconut oil and monolaurin actually helps with that. It actually moisturizes the skin, helps repair that barrier, and coats it, right? So it's actually a protective barrier. So really nice option for antimicrobial care. The first thing that's amazing about the big brave Boo-Boo Balm is it really only contains 3 things. That's it. I mean, it's hard to see because it's so tiny, but if you were to get one, it literally just says petrolatum, coconut oil, and ours is the coconut oil that we grow in the organic farm. It's certified organic. It's very pure, cold first pressed, virgin coconut oil, And we have clinical studies on that oil in particular published in peer-reviewed journals on its efficacy for things like even atopic dermatitis, right? So 3 ingredients: petrolatum, coconut oil, and glycerol laurate, which is monolaurin. And why this is so effective and so wonderful is virgin coconut oil itself is broad spectrum antimicrobial, but so is monolaurin. Putting those two together makes for a very effective, wonderful broad spectrum antimicrobial for several issues, which is why it's so great on cuts and wounds and things like that. The petrolatum is also really, really important because it provides a very occlusive barrier layer. For those of you sort of familiar with moist wound healing, that's what kind of the petrolatum does. It provides a moist, occluded, like a real barrier, so that, you know, your cells can kind of grow and heal in this lovely, wonderful environment. Back in the day, we used to think you had to leave burns and wounds and stuff out in the open to dry and crust over, but actually moist wound healing is really, really effective. So imagine you have virgin coconut oil, monolaurin, all in this wonderful, occlusive, moist healing base. That's why it's so quick acting, and it feels wonderful. It's ouchless because it doesn't have anything stingy. These are lipids, these are fats. This is, you know, petrolatum. It just feels gooey and lovely and soothing. So we have Boo-Boo Balm kind of all over the house, right? This is the one that's in sort of our family room. I don't know if you can see it, but I'll post a picture later. It's just gooey sort of goodness. It's just so, I don't know, there's no sting. It doesn't dry. This is all coaty, yummy, gooey lipids. So there's no pain. It's really so much better to use on wounds, especially for little ones who don't want to deal with more pain on top of the issue that they're already dealing with. So what'll happen is, say my kids are cooking or they're for school and they have a paper cut or whatever, literally they'll run and be like, Mama, Boo-Boo Balm, and they'll just put it on. It's so easy. And it goes away really, really quickly. My husband would bring it in his gym bag for when he would be playing soccer or football, because anytime you have a scrape from like a tackle or something, it's quick, it's painless, and you're set. Other uses for Boo-Boo Balm, there's so many. Like I have it next to my bed for like I have dry lips now. I think because I've gone out a few times to like register to vote and stuff, so I've had to wear a mask, and it gets my lips all messed up. So you just saw me apply it on my lips, so it is a phenomenal lip balm. We don't have sort of glands on our lips, so we don't produce a lot of moisture on our lips, and we do need help sometimes. This is great because it's not just sort of sitting on top of the lips. The monolaurin and the VCO, particularly virgin coconut oil, its fatty acids are native to skin. So it gets in there and it really helps repair the barrier. And then on top of that, you have this protective barrier on top, like a palisade on top of the lips. So it's really, really great for chronically chapped lips, angular colitis, you know, it happens here, that painful dryness there. Other lip problems that you might have. You also might want to check out our toothpaste for perioral dermatitis, and I actually just did a video about that you might find helpful. So as a lip balm for the cuticles, it's phenomenal if you tend to get sort of dry cuticles, or you have little hangnails and stuff. It's a wonderful little thing. This is why, again, it's right next to my bed. It also works for insect bites. Itching, interestingly enough, people don't necessarily know, itching is sometimes caused just by the inflammation. Putting Boo-Boo Balm on the insect bite can help quickly bring down that inflammation, which can bring down the itching, which then prevents all the scratching, and then the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which is dark spots after an inflammation. So it can totally help with that. One of the risks of constant scratching is you then create breaks in the skin. This also happens with really dry skin. And when you have breaks in the skin, that becomes welcoming to opportunistic microbes. So then you can actually get an infection just from that, and now you're in trouble, right? So this prevents the breaks in the skin, and it deals with opportunistic microbes that are trying to get in. It's also used for a whole bunch of other things, I think, because you can use it anywhere. Remember, this is petrolatum, virgin coconut oil, monolaurin. So it's actually quite safe on the mucosa. I wouldn't suggest putting a lot of it inside the mouth area, but it is excellent, for example, in the nose, like when you're dealing with a really raw situation because you've been sneezing a lot, you've had a cold or whatever, grabbing some, let's say with a tissue and putting it up there and then rubbing out here can be such a lifesaver. If you're on a plane and you're dealing with all that dry air, or just in the winter, this in the nose, on the lips can be such a lifesaver. I also use it, so I'll get my seborrheic dermatitis here as well when I'm stressed or it's very, very cold and dry, and I'll put Boo-Boo Balm there as well. My, banker's rash and sebderm will also come out here and here and here, and I'll apply Boo-Boo Balm there as well. A lot of people love Boo-Boo Balm for their eczema flare-ups, atopic dermatitis flare-ups, and what we say is, try to tamp it down early. So as soon as you kind of feel a flare-up starting to percolate, put the Boo-Boo Balm on already. And it can even be helpful for, say, early psoriasis flares that are fairly mild. It can do quite a lot. And rosacea and seborrheic dermatitis. Inflammation, remember, this is great for dealing with inflammation. So again, it's great on the mucosa. It's also really good on the genitalia. Put it, let's say, around the vagina, into the vagina, but in that area, the mucosa around there, anal fissures, other issues around the genitals, totally, totally, totally usable, very safe, very effective, and ouchless. So talk to your doctor, of course, for things like that, and just make sure that the ingredients are fine for you to use. Other ways, so people will keep Boo-Boo Balm, I certainly have in my bag, and I will use it for anything. So I'll use it for, like, if I get a blister in my foot, like on the heel, I'll put it on there. If I have a cut, a scrape, a scratch, I'll use it for that. But in a pinch, I'll also use it for other emergencies, like we know people. This was actually a tip that was from a friend, and then we were like, oh my gosh, why didn't I ever, think of that before? And we'll use it to, like, fix the eyebrows, right? Like there you go. I could probably bring that up a little. So yeah, as sort of a brow fixative, like a little eyebrow gel that's actually, quite healthy. Yeah, so we know people who use it for, like, a lot of different things. And on airplanes, again, some people will use it just on larger swaths of their skin because it's so dry, right? So another nice thing that I want to kind of end on is, it's fun to say,
the big brave Boo-Boo Balm.
So when your kids get this and, they say Boo-Boo Balm, we have so many videos that customers send us of their kids saying Boo-Boo Balm, Mama Boo-Boo Balm, Papa Boo-Boo Balm. It's awesome, right? So it's fun to say. The kids really like it. And what's nice is it gives kids, especially that young, a sense of something that they can control. So I've seen kids, like, put Boo-Boo Balm on their teddy bears, or I've seen kids go to their parents and say, that you need Boo-Boo Balm. It's really nice. It's really quite special. So that is Boo-Boo Balm in its glory. This really wonderful small thing that does so many great, great things. It's so simple. Yeah, quick reminder about who we are. We make the safest, most proven effective care on the planet. How we do that is through allergen omission. We remove the majority or all of the top contact allergens in our formulations. We have a VH rating system showing how many allergens are not in a formulation. If there were an allergen in there, it also shows you clearly which one it is, because if it's not one that you patch tested positive for, you can still use the product, because it's pretty unlikely you would patch test positive for all top allergens. We also patch test everything, all ingredients, final formulation, even applicators and stuff. And we publish our clinical studies. There's a lot of research that we have that's published in peer-reviewed journals and such. Getting one published is usually considered the holy grail, and thanks to my mother, we have over 75, and she has something like 200. I hope you found that helpful. Please let us know if you have any comments or questions. Write them in the comments, and we'll definitely get to that. Take care. Have a skintastic day.